All right. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry for the slight delay in starting this. I see Yana and Boris here. Yana, Boris, do you have any updates for the community?
No updates from my side.
Anything from you, Yana?
No updates from me.
All right. I will say that we have been doing a little bit of work trying to stabilize um, the whiteboard integration that we have. Mihail has been working on that. She isn't here today, but essentially the way that we're thinking about it is just make sure. So the issues that we've had there was that as soon as we get up to a certain scale, everything falls apart. And since this is a third-party product, and we don't really have the ability to maintain or extend it from a scalability perspective, we are essentially just going to limit the amount of people that can use a whiteboard at the same time. Right now, it's looking like this could be around 20. And things are looking better now that we've tried that. That's just a small update there. I'm trying to recall if we've discussed anything that would be of interest to the community in the past couple of weeks. Nothing's coming to mind, so I'll just open the microphone to the community. Are there any questions or comments? Ed, how's it going?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we do.
On my problems a couple weeks ago when I was talking about screen sharing, using VoiceOver screen reader on Mac OS.
Right.
I double checked and I got it working with Chrome.
Good. Great to hear.
Yeah, but it doesn't work on Safari or Firefox. But I was on Chrome. The only thing I'm able to do, which suited my purposes, but may not be for everybody, is that you get your three options of like what is it, full screen, or I forget what the other one is, but then there's one
Window or tab.
yeah, like a window or a tab or something like that, right? So you can do one application and one window or tab in that application.
That's
That's
correct.
um so if you want to switch or whatever, you got to like sort of stop screen sharing and then go back into it again. So anyway, I just wanted to update. I couldn't do
You're
the
saying there's no way to share multiple windows at the same time? That's
right. I tried to
correct.
share the full screen, right? And I couldn't do that.
Oh, really? So I believe you have to, after you see after the dialog pops up, and that asks you to select. First, you have to select the tab that says share the screen, and then you have to select one of the screens that are being shown there. So maybe that's what was missing.
Yeah, the screen reader just gives you the titles of them or whatever, right? And one of them says full screen, and if you keep going over, it's like a app or window or whatever, right? And so if you do app or window, then you get like a pop-up of all of the open windows that you have on your system, and then you pick the app, and then you pick the window in that app that you want. But yeah, so I don't know. Again, I haven't done an update to Sonoma yet, which is the latest version of Mac OS. That might resolve some of these
No,
issues.
I'd be surprised. This sounds like the pure Chrome. I mean, it might help with Safari, but I don't think that the Chrome thing that you're seeing is going to be. I don't expect it to be impacted. It sounds like they just didn't make the screen option available to the screen reader. It's a dialogue, and in the tab there is kind of like the way that you have the windows and the tabs listed in their respective places, the same way you have the screens that are listed under the screen option. And you have to select the screen in order for the screen sharing to work. And I suppose that's not being made available to the screen reader.
Yeah, or it could have been a problem between the keyboard and the chair. In other words, me. So,
Well, if
I'll
you didn't hear it, you didn't hear it. So,
right. I
um,
heard it, but the thing is that when you select it, there's supposed to be like start screen sharing. Like that button is dimmed, right?
yeah,
So,
okay.
like, what I'm thinking
Yeah,
is
it
it's
is
not.
dimmed until you select one of the screens. And I believe you have to select one of the screens even when there's a single screen. Still have to select, this is the screen that I want to share.
Oh, okay. That I wasn't aware of. All right. So, all right, I'll give that a shot and report back.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Anyone else?
I'm facing a small difficulty in configuring like a live transcription service. I'm playing with Jitsi Meet Docker. I've like set some of the environment variables to enable transcription. Um, Sometimes I see like the enable transcription is enabled in the UI, but then when I click on it, it doesn't do anything. I was also kind of curious if we could push an update so that we could just have live transcription enabled everywhere using the open source transcription service. Uh, uh,
I didn't understand the last part. The first one, unless Boris, you wanna or Oriana, you have anything you wanna add there? I won't be able to help with exactly why this is not turning on for you for Docker, and so is usually the one managing Docker. So I'd advise for you to post on community.jitsi.org. With regard to pushing an update in order to use the open source transcription service, I'm not sure what you meant there.
I'm just meaning that it would be more useful to enable like transcription everywhere. Using the
So
open
this,
source service seems like
yeah,
a great option.
agree there, but it requires you to run the other the service yourself. So this would have to be
Exactly. Though it's
Dockerized.
pretty lightweight, it's not a big deal to run that.
Okay. So is this what you're running when you're facing the problems?
Exactly. Exactly. There's something that's like I think it's getting like the JA. It's not a jigsaw. One of the components is basically saying it isn't configured properly.
Okay. The Gigassi?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I think it would be easiest to post on the forums because you can post the error there. If you do, I'll make sure to check it out today.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll continue to debug this year.
Right, thanks.
Another question I was kind of having is I was playing with like YouTube live streaming, and I was noticing if you do like a really, really long live stream, like more than 12 hours, and basically the content just becomes inaccessible in YouTube. I'm not sure if people have faced that issue like this.
Does it stop streaming to YouTube, or is it just YouTube not handling a long stream?
It's basically YouTube isn't handling a large stream.
Mhm.
So I was also curious if people have any other ideas of like alternatives to YouTube. I was seeing like Restreamer, like some open source project that can kind of like on demand summarize like long gaps of information that can just give you good content on your channel.
I don't have any input here.
Yeah, me neither. We'll work with anything that will do RTMP, but as to how the different services compare to each other, I personally have very limited knowledge.
Gotcha. One other question is the streaming uses like a FFmpeg under the covers. And I was wondering as well, say you turn off your server like while you're doing a recording. There's no like incremental checkpointing on like saving the recording unless it's able to like save right at the end.
I believe it writes to disk the entire time. There's always a file from the start. It's still there. So if you have a crash, as soon as you recover, the file should be there, and you should be able to, do with it what you
Okay,
want.
that's great. So it's like basically like always writing the file.
Wait. Actually, so we're talking about recording, right? Not live streaming in this case.
Yeah, I'm talking about recording.
Yes, it does. It does write to a file the entire time. We do have that happen every now and then, and we do have recovery procedures to retrieve the files and all that.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. Any other questions?
I was also curious.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not sure this is like an easy one, but if there's a way in the the Docker configuration to manage multiple Jibris, because if you're having more than one live stream, you basically need to have a lot of Jibri instances, right? I was thinking maybe there could be a new component that can just like, or maybe there's already some APIs that are accessible from the outside that you can kind of like query and then just deploy more of them like on demand, so you can have a pool of them.
So we do use Jitsi with a large pool of Jibris, but we're not using the Docker Compose setup. We have essentially those handled, independently. We just have a bunch of Jibris that are registering, and the Jitsi itself supports this. It knows how to keep track of busy Jibris, free Jibris, and all of that. But I'm not sure that you could easily get that to happen with Docker Compose.
Yeah, it would be wonderful if we could have like a setup that's working so anyone can deploy a massive amount of it.
I agree. It would be wonderful.
Cool. We're playing with it. Hopefully we'll have a solution for it. We'll share what we're able to do. Thank you for the information. I'm looking forward to getting this transcription service enabled. I definitely would advocate to see if we can enable it everywhere. And one thing too is it was seeming like only the moderator could turn it on and off.
Yes, that's the
It
case.
seems to be an accessibility tool.
So usually transcriptions involve some additional cost, and most of the people that are using them do want to limit, somehow want to control who's able to do it. At the very least, they want only users of theirs to be doing it, right, as opposed to random people who show up for conferences. So yes, only moderators could do it. You could, however, that's kind of, if you're using the platform with JWT tokens, you can specify permissions for transcription without giving all moderator controls. So that would be another more fine-grained way to allow that. Does that make sense?
Got it. One feature I was kind of curious in building, maybe you have some insight of like how we can maybe do it, is I was seeing some other streaming services kind of have like a individual basically everyone's in their own box, and then Jitsi it basically has like the video bridge service where it kind of like combines all the streams together. That so basically you're not able to like access individuals' audio. Is that correct? Say you
I'm
want
not
to like
sure.
on the server. Say on the server, you basically want to have it configured so that it'll create a directory and create a small video file with like everyone's feed in it, so you can have them individually.
As in stored, as in recorded?
Exactly. Rather than having like one big picture, you can just have like the individual video files.
We don't currently have that, and it might pop up in the future as a feature of Jitsi. Now there's a way actually to enable PCAP recording as a debug tool on the video bridge. But that wouldn't produce video files, is the first thing. It would just produce records of packets. And secondly, it's a debug tool. So if you're intending on, we personally wouldn't want to run that in production, as it might compromise the.
Of course, it would definitely generate like a large load on the system.
Yes. But so if you are looking at deploying something like that in production, the best way to achieve that would probably be, so first, it doesn't exist, but in order to develop it, you'd probably be best served to start from Jitsi and record the separate tracks there, either as packets or depacketized. But you could store them as packets and then have something else post-process.
It wouldn't be using like
packets.
FFmpeg to like write it. You have to use something else, like you're
Are
saying.
you
Basically,
interested
you'll
in
get all the
audio?
packets.
Only in audio or audio and video?
I would say eventually we would want both, but maybe we could just start with audio. I mean, we'd want a solution that could do both, though.
So I think Emil's suggestion about using Jitsi for audio is going to work great. For video, not so much, because we just haven't kept up with the video stack.
No, but Boris, if they're to just record the packets, it's not like they'd need something from the video stack.
Well, if
right?
there's packets missing from a keyframe, for example, it needs to do something to request retransmissions.
Right. That's a good point. If that is a concern at the server level, which it may not be really.
So what you're saying is you could write a script to generate a PCAP file, and the data that's going back and forth is like in a common format that you can then just write another program that can just like extract and reassemble the PCAP file.
That's what I was suggesting, yes.
Okay. Cool. I like that solution too, because that would be usable in other places as well, right? Anywhere that's sending this format, which is pretty generic.
Well,
is that correct?
Yeah, I don't know that many other things are writing PCAP dumps. But sure, if someone else writes a PCAP dump that contains video packets, your solution would also work for that.
All right, that's good information. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Good. Thanks everyone for dropping by, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.